It's Friday, April 11. In the headlines, Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness announces $50 million investment to upgrade Port of Kingston. In business news, we have your usual market updates. Regionally, in Barbados, shipping boss Anthony Ali calls Trump's latest tariff action a tactical retreat. And in sports, West Indies women plays Ireland women in their second Women's Cricket World Cup qualifier match. This is the weekend news on PBC Jamaica. I'm Simone Absalom Gale. Big developments are coming to the Port of Kingston with a fresh $50 million investment to upgrade equipment and expand capacity this year. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness made the announcement on Thursday during his keynote address to the Outsource to Jamaica conference at the Montego Bay Convention Center in St. James. Since 2016, more than $400 million has been invested under a 30-year concession with Kingston Freeport Terminal Limited. That investment brought in new cranes, upgraded infrastructure, and cutting-edge geopositioning technology, boosting cargo volumes by over 50% and increasing port employment by 53%.
And beyond the port itself, we are laying the foundation for transformational growth through the Caymanas Special Economic Zone, a 700-acre site located near the Port of Kingston and key highways.
The Prime Minister says Jamaica's strategic location and expanding port capacity are positioning the country as a leading logistics hub in the Americas.
Port expansion is a stepping stone towards logistic-led infrastructure and industrial development in the region. It is about positioning Jamaica as a regional hub for warehousing, distribution, e-commerce fulfillment, contract manufacturing, and supply chains analytics.
With another major investment now on the way, the Port of Kingston is expected to play an even greater role in driving Jamaica's economic transformation. Cabinet has approved an expansion of the 20% duty concession on vehicles, giving more agricultural workers access to affordable, suitable transport. Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining Minister Floyd Green made the announcement during Wednesday's post-cabinet press brief at Jamaica House. The policy shift, first revealed by Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness during his 2025-2026 budget debate, expands the list of eligible vehicles from just pickup trucks to now include panel vans and small trucks, including refrigerated units.
That will ensure that they can expand their fleet and bring in vehicles that are better suited to treat with the perishability of their produce. In addition, we looked at the cost of a number of these motor vehicles, and we have decided that for these panel vans, small trucks for farmers, that we're going to amend the age limit for these light commercial vehicles, increasing it from 10 years to 15 years. That means that there will be lower cost, more accessible for our farmers.
And in a major boost for Jamaica's blue economy, marine fishers will now also benefit from the concession. They'll soon be able to access refrigerated vehicles to support their operations,
hence strengthening their ability to participate in the blue economy, increasing productivity, increasing efficiency, and lowering barriers to entry and operation.
Applications will go through RADA for registered farmers and the National Fisheries Authority for fishers. But Minister Green says fishers should wait about 2 months before applying, as final implementation is still on the way. It was a record-breaking year for Expo Jamaica 2025 as thousands of local and international buyers flocked to the National Arena and the National Indoor Sports Complex in Kingston. The four-day trade show, held from April 3 to April 6, marked the 49th staging of Jamaica's premier manufacturing and export showcase. Organized by the Jamaica Manufacturers and Exporters Association in partnership with JAMPRO and other key stakeholders, Expo Jamaica offered a powerful platform to highlight the very best of Jamaican innovation and enterprise. Our reporter, Denida Rodney, attended the expo, showcasing the critical role in aligning Jamaica's global export and investment strategy, helping to forge international partnerships while putting a spotlight on the island's economic potential.
Expo Jamaica is one of the largest and most impactful trade show and exhibition of its kind in the Caribbean. More than 200 exhibitors and more than 500 registered buyers are participating in this event. Welcome to Expo Jamaica 2025. We are here at the vehicle booth and we are about to speak with Ms. Cherie Williams, founder and CEO. So just tell me a bit about Vehicle.
Sure, so Vehicle is a car sharing platform. If you understand the Airbnb concept, it's Airbnb but with cars. So we allow local car owners who have idle cars just sitting by just to earn some extra income, listing it on our platform. We provide the insurance arrangement via ICWI so that when travelers are coming down to the islands, they can have an easier way, a more affordable way to rent cars that they like.
Out by You, it is a manufacturing company of furniture. I am Akil Dixon, the operation manager here. So we do mostly lounge type furniture. Also, we have our house catalog, which involve bed, dressers, chest of drawer, and any other custom pieces that you would want in your home. But however, today at this expo, we are putting our lounge type catalog on display, in which we manufacture most of our furniture from barrel, and also we incorporate guango as a solid wood. So we have bar stools, we have bar tables, stools and chairs for your counter, tables for your house. Also, we are good for restaurant, lounges, any area that needs seating.
Guess what? It's a very authentic Jamaican game. It's about the culture. It's a very eclectic lifestyle. It's for ages 6 and upwards. It's all about the Jamaican expressions, Jamaican culture, landmarks. It's fun for the family, all age groups, church groups, work groups, children. Everybody can play this. It's a family fun game.
So the Bureau of Standards Jamaica is very happy to be here at Expo 2025. The Bureau of Standards Jamaica is one of 20 agencies in the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce. And as a part of that ministry, which we have called the Business Ministry, we are here to just outline the importance of standards and the way the organization supports all players in the industry. So we set standards. We help people to understand the standards, and we have a client services program. And this program is free of cost to persons, particularly startups, who are seeking to establish themselves as business operators.
From inspiring collaborations to pioneering breakthroughs, Expo Jamaica 2025 has set the tone for a new era in trade and innovation. We look forward to the next chapter here in Jamaica, the land we love.
Time now for the business report.
Welcome to today's business report. I'm Denise Williams, here to bring you the stories shaping the financial world and guiding your journey to smarter business decisions. Let's dive into the top headlines. The National Insurance Fund, which is the nation's pension fund, recorded a surplus of 28.33 billion Jamaican dollars for the 2023-2024 financial year, pushing its total asset to 193.64 billion Jamaican dollars. According to official figures, the asset base was driven by 98.74 billion in investment securities, 39.82 billion in equities, and 33.90 billion in unit trust holdings. However, after subtracting 2.93 billion in outstanding payables, the fund net assets settled at $190.71 billion. Finance Minister Favour Williams is doubling down on the government's commitment to cutting Jamaica's debt to gross domestic product ratio to 60% by the 2027-2028 fiscal year. Minister Williams says the goal is to secure investment-grade status for the country, which would allow Jamaica to borrow money at lower interest rates on the global market. Her remarks come as Jamaica faces new economic pressures, including a 10% tariff on exports to the United States recently imposed by the Trump administration. The tariff is adding urgency to calls for stronger export performance, increased agricultural production, infrastructure upgrades, and a more diversified energy sector. The Supreme Court has approved the reorganization of Cornerstone Group and Barita Investments Limited under a single financial holding company in accordance with Jamaica's financial holding company regime. The ruling, handed down on April 4, follows a joint petition by both entities in December 2023. The reorganization will place all regulated entities within the two groups under one financial holding company, as required by the Banking Services Act of 2024. That law mandates any financial group with two or more regulated entities, one being a deposit-taking institution, must consolidate under a single holding structure. For the trading period ending April 10, 2025, these were the most actively traded stocks. Toll road operator Trans-Jamaican Highway Limited with 1,218,361,564 units traded, represented 98.78% of market sales volume. Caribbean finance conglomerate JMMB Group Limited, 10% variable rate Jamaican dollar preference shares with 2,408,613 units traded, representing 0.2% of market sales volume. Cigarette distributor Carreras Limited with 1,789,686 units traded, represented 0.15% of market sales volume. We now shift our focus to the Forex market rate set by the Bank of Jamaica. On April 10, 2025, the Bank of Jamaica reported US $73.77 million purchased and US $60.61 million sold by Forex traders. Forex traders earned $1.07 per dollar, selling the US at $158.46 and buying the US at $157.39. The Canadian dollar netted Forex traders 60 cents per transaction, with selling at $112.25 and buying at $111.65. The British pound yielded Forex traders $6.36 in profits, with selling at $204.21 and buying at $197.85. For our credit report tip of the day, rebuilding your credit shouldn't feel like fighting through red tape and radio silence. But let's be honest, it often does. You walk into the bank branch, you pick up the phone, your heart is full of hope, ready to take the next step in your financial journey. And then it happens. The banking staff is clueless. You're passed from person to person. No one calls you back. You leave feeling more discouraged than when you started. I coach people through this every week, and I always remind them, you can't give up. You need strategy, you need persistence, and most of all, you need to stay wealth-minded. You're not just fixing your credit, you're building your legacy. Don't let a few gatekeepers shake your resolve. One key tip, persistence is key. So if the banks don't call you, call them. Also, join a community of action takers. Having a circle of people working towards financial freedom keeps you focused and fired up. And that wraps up today's business report. I'm Denise Williams, reminding you that every financial decision is a step toward your future. Until next time, stay focused, stay informed, and keep striving for success. See you soon.
In regional news, in Barbados, a tactical retreat. That's how Managing Director of the Goddard's Group and Chairman of Goddard's Shipping Division, Anthony Ali, summed up Wednesday's action by U.S. President Donald Trump. President Trump dramatically reversed course, dropping his country-specific tariffs down to a universal 10% rate for all trade partners, except China. Ali tells TTT Live's business report that even with the stay of implementation by the Trump administration, there is now a wait-and-see game. Trevor Thorpe reports.
Mr. Ali says seeking alternative sources and looking for substitute products are laudable, but bringing such initiatives to fruition will not be easy in the Caribbean, as there are numerous hurdles to overcome. Part of the challenge, he says, is that the region does not have a common currency.
It's not that easy to move product around. Over and above that, CARICOM itself makes it difficult by putting up artificial barriers, non-sanitary barriers, phytosanitary barriers. There are still trade issues where certain products are not allowed to come in. You hear these stories about product being imported locally within the Caribbean. They come to the port and they're barred from coming in and the product gets destroyed. That happened here with pineapples. It happened here with milk. It happens all over the Caribbean. And so we become, in some cases, the barrier to our own success.
The leading business official says if the tariffs are eventually implemented, that coupled with the levy on Chinese vessels will push prices upwards.
And that impact will be felt in two ways. One, it'll be the impact of the tariff itself. And then secondly, there should be an impact of inflation in the U.S. As inflation goes up in the U.S., the products that we're buying will have inflation over and above the tariffs, and we are going to import that inflation. So you're going to get that impact twice.
He adds that the impact of the measures will be felt twice in Barbados and admits that manufacturers and distributors will not absorb the increase in prices.
So the net result should be price increases being felt on the supermarket, on the store shelf, probably within 60 plus days, if the tariffs go through.
Mr. Ali says, for now though, everyone is still in a holding position. Trevor Thorpe for the Business Report.
On the invitation of the St. Kitts Tourism Authority, the assistance of the Caribbean Hotel and Tourism Association is expected to lead the revitalization of the St. Kitts and Nevis Hotel and Tourism Association.
On the invitation of the St. Kitts Tourism Authority, the assistance of the Caribbean Hotel and Tourism Association, CHTA, is expected to lead to the revitalization of the St. Kitts and Nevis Hotel and Tourism Association. Once a highly active organization on the tourism landscape of the Federation, the SKNA-HTA experienced significant decline in its operations, some believed to be caused by inadequate financial structures for the organization that would support a professional operational office with appropriately qualified staff and management. Nevertheless, CHTA officials were in the Federation recently. CHTA President Sanavnik Destang and Chief Executive Officer Vanessa Ledesma held discussions with several tourism and hospitality stakeholders here on St. Kitts and Nevis. It is understood that efforts are directed towards re-establishing a unified and empowered association that champions collaboration, representation, and sustainable growth across the sector. According to a press release issued by the SKTA, the meetings and presentations that were held emphasized the benefits of having a strong collective voice, ranging from advocacy, training opportunities, regional representation, and marketing support to crisis management and lobbying efforts. Among the national officials assisting in the reactivation of the SKN Hotel and Tourism Association were CEO Kelly Fontanelle of the St. Kitts Tourism and Hotel Association and Mr. Darren Thompson, General Manager of the Royal St. Kitts Hotel. Glenn Bart reporting for SKN Newsline.
The construction of an assessment center and temporary housing facility for the socially displaced in South Key of Port of Spain, Trinidad and Tobago is now underway. On Wednesday, Minister of Development and Family Services, Donna Cox, visited the site, which is expected to be completed by October this year.
She acknowledged that not all needy people are willing to accept help.
Right now, we have been trying to move persons, and of course, we don't have the legally, the Ministry of Social Development and Family Services cannot just move persons off the street. We need assistance for mental health, the Ministry of Health. Also, we have to look at legislation as well, which we intend to do before this building is completed.
Senior social work specialist Stacey Toussaint explained the facility's purpose.
So the assessment center and temporary housing facility, this is basically the first of its kind. It's the ministry's desire to provide quality of care for socially displaced persons who are living on the street, as well as persons who become socially displaced due to a number of different issues.
She says the center is the first of its kind in the Caribbean. It is intended to house 200 people and includes 5 family units. The comprehensive assessment done for each potential inhabitant, she says, will assist to determine the amount of help needed, training, and length of stay.
We kick off our sportcast with news on cricket, as West Indies women are looking to bounce back as they take on Ireland women this Friday at the Gaddafi Stadium, their second outing in the Women's World Cup qualifiers. The regional side is coming off a tough 11-run loss to Scotland on Wednesday, a setback that makes their path to the World Cup a steep one. But head coach Shane Dietz says the team is still in the fight. He's quoted in the Jamaica Observer saying, "The beauty of this tournament is that if we win the next 4 games with a good net run rate, it should see us through. Our goal now is the next game." End quote. He says the West Indies will be coming into Friday's match with renewed determination and a plan to fight. The Women's Cricket World Cup is set for September to October in India, and with just 2 qualifying spots up for grabs. Every game counts. We pivot to netball as young netballers swapped their uniforms and sneakers for an empowering experience this week at the Jean-Pierre Caribbean Youth Netball Tournament in Barbados. Instead of competition, they engaged in mentorship and cultural exchange, connecting with peers and positive female role models to inspire personal growth and change. Here's more in this report.
Building confidence, leadership skills, and conflict resolution are just some of the topics participants in this year's Jean-Pierre Caribbean Youth Netball Tournament were privy to today. At the end of the day, those involved in the Sister Speak initiative made many new friends while enjoying the camaraderie. Minister in the Prime Minister's office with responsibility for culture, Senator Dr. Chantel Monroe-Knight told the girls despite their circumstances, they could succeed in all their endeavors. Recalling her circumstances growing up, she challenged the girls to explore who they are.
You have to understand that at one level, but understand that there are real barriers for you as a young woman and as a Black young woman as well. It's real, right? It means something. And you have to know that. And once you know that, then it then has to mean that you operate differently. Yeah? That there has to be, again, the level of something in your belly in terms of your own confidence and how you step out to the world, how you wear your clothes, how you speak to people, how people see you. Those things are important because people make perceptions about who you are just based on the fact that you're a woman and you're Black. And then you're young.
Meanwhile, Member of Parliament for St. Michael South Central, Marsha Cadell, noted one of the greatest gifts she got growing up was realizing what investment meant in order to keep life happening. The former Minister of Industry, Innovation, Science and Technology added she always knew she needed to earn the kind of income that would put her in a position to care for those who took care of her.
And I realized very quickly that my responsibility was not just to the next generation. But the truth is that our responsibilities are often to the generations that we're leaving behind. And is one of the reasons that I think that things like estate planning and understanding what you're leaving for future generations is so important. Because many of us are in positions, and many of us in this room, where we don't just have to plan for our future, but we also have to make sure we're taking care of our family.
The tournament, which includes Barbados, Dominica, Grenada, St. Lucia, Antigua and Barbuda, and Trinidad and Tobago, ends on Saturday. Rachel Agard, CBC News.
We turn now to swimming as Trinidad and Tobago's 11-year-old swimmer, Julius Inal, says he is aiming for a podium finish at this year's Carifta Aquatic Championships. TTT Sport caught up with Julius at the National Aquatic Center in Cova.
With the 2025 Carifta Aquatic Championships hosted in Trinidad and Tobago on the horizon, many of TNT's junior swimmers are set to make their mark at this year's Games. One of those athletes will be 11-year-old Julius Ennels, who is representing TNT for the first time, and he is hoping to make a huge splash in the boys 11 to 12 category.
It feels really good because it's my first ever national team and I'm only 11 years old, and I feel really grateful for this moment. My parents think I'm going to do great, and I also think I'm going to do great. Training has been really hard, but it also has been really fun because our coaches have been giving us different workouts every session, and it has really been tiring.
Julius, who has been working hard at the National Aquatic Center with the rest of TNT's 36-member swim team, is looking forward to showcasing his talents in front of a home crowd.
Trying to improve on my breaststroke because breaststroke is my weakest stroke, and all my other strokes like backstroke, fly and freestyle are all really strong, so I just need to improve on my breaststroke. It makes me feel really excited because all the attention is going to be on me. Well, only for my friends and family, but I feel really excited about it.
The junior swimmer is expecting great things from himself as he aims to help TNT claim their first Carifta title since 2010, while dethroning champions of the Bahamas.
I feel like the 50 fly, I'm going to gain points for my country, and also the 400 free, the 200 fly, 400 IM, and for the 200 back, I feel like I'm going to get a podium for that one. I'm not focused on that, I'm just focused on doing my best and representing my country.
Good luck to Julius and the rest of the TNT Carifta swim team, who begin competition on April 19th.
And that's it for the news on PBCJ. You can follow us on our social media platforms at PBCJamaica. Thanks for watching.